Hello, people. How y'all doing? What I want to do is I want to speak to you all for a minute. I'm not going to be able go through the whole thing, but have you all ever heard of this? This is important to actually look up a lot of stuff. It's called Three Steps to Heaven. First of all, first and foremost, is there really a heaven? You see what I'm saying? We have been taught and told things. We know that religion and Christianity was given to us by slave masters and stuff. And once we was set free from the bondage of evil and all that kind of stuff, when we was taken into captivity, when the Europeans came over here and they stole our religion and stole us from Africa and brought us over here, and they enslaved and powered us under their powers, and they turned around and gave us the gods that be, which is their religion and all that kind of stuff. And that's how we got the Catholics and all that kind of stuff. The Catholic people is a Christianity that they came over here and enslaved us and gave us that slave Christianity and all that kind of stuff. And this is the reason why we're more submissive to a white man, stuff like that. But I wanna take time and I want to read something about it here. It said if there could be a highway to the moon, it would take 20 minutes of consent. The driving at the rate of 400 miles per day to reach the land of the moon. If there could be a railroad scratching up to the sun, a stem line train traveling 90 miles nonstop day after day and year after year, would you require 116 years to reach sunny land? An airplane flying at 50 miles and would have to travel nonstop for 500 years to reach the nearest fixed star. Yet far beyond the starry skyline, the pearly gates of God's great heavenly sky city, no one knows how far it is in miles, and no one will ever develop a space vehicle for going there. But but every one of us can get to that beautiful place by taking taking three simple steps that we are going to talk about in this little book. Okay, in the book of Revelation, John declared that nothing which defiles would go through the gates into that dwelling place of God. The only thing that defiles in God's sight is sin. The only thing that is that defiles in God's sight is sin. Isaiah wrote, your iniquities have separated between you and your God. Isaiah 59:2. In order to live again in the presence of God, each individual must be free from the condemnation brought on by sin. The Apostle John confirmed this fact by his description of that great multitude that he saw a vision standing before the throne of God. Okay, it's supposed to be talking about the 7 steps to heaven. Now, it would be a lot of reading. Let's see here. In the book of Revelation, John declared that nothing which defiles would go through the gates into that dwelling place of God. The only thing that defiles in God's sight is sin. Isaiah wrote, your iniquities have separated between you and your God. Isaiah 59:2. In order to live again, in the presence of God. Each individual must be free from the condemnation brought on by sin. The Apostle John that confirmed this fact by his description of that great multitude that he saw in a vision standing before the throne of God. They had palms in their hands and were dressed in in white robes, and represented the freedom from sin. Revelation 7 verse 9. So mark it down as the first giant step on the way from earth to heaven. We must have our sins forgiven. Okay, this is probably the best known fact about the entire salvation process. Yet, the most perplexing perplex means we're all confused to a degree, because you just can't get an understanding by just reading something. You have to really actually get a full understanding to it. Now, I do know, all I know is, the only thing that I can say is that your conscience tells you a whole lot. You see what I'm saying? Your conscience, when your conscience bothers you, and my conscience, when you do something that's not really, you pretty much feel guilty. You feel like you can do better. You feel like you can improve. I say that all the time. You see what I'm saying? But I am in no ways, I don't call myself a Christian. I'm not a Christian or whatever. So, and this is just me just being totally honest. But what I'm gonna read this here, and then I'll just come back and talk more about this a bit later. All right, peace.